And you are live, and we'll see you later, brother.
All right. All right, everyone, we are live. We're going to wait. Still got about 20 minutes before we start, but we're going to give everybody time to trickle in a little bit. Dustin and Vickie, Tanya will be with us a little bit later, and they are traveling on the road right now. So I'm still getting set up. All right, if y'all are just hopping on, we're live right now. We're not getting started for another 15 minutes. I'm just giving everybody some time to trickle in, and Dustin and the gang will be with us shortly. So welcome everybody who's here. I can't see the chat yet. I'm getting on. I see we got PW and Jaden and Crossover, Winter Lightning. Welcome everybody. I'm gonna go hop on the chat here with y'all. All right, guys, tonight we are going to have a little bit of an abbreviated show. My daughter is out of town, so she will not be doing music. So we'll just be doing the teaching aspect from the book of Enoch. As you see my cat walking back and forth in the background, I'm sure you will see him again unless he decides to go outside. We're going to give it another few minutes here before we settle in. And I know we've got some new people, so I'll fill everybody in on kind of what we do on Sunday and Tuesday nights, what to expect, what to look forward to. So for everybody who is new, this is I guess technically it's the first show we do on PPR during the week. We have Sunday nights. We're going through the book of Enoch, considering how important this book is to people of all different religions, especially those in the paranormal community. I thought it would be worth the time to go through this book and see what it teaches on fallen angels, see what it teaches about their fate, see what it teaches about humanity, see what it teaches about demon spirits. And so we've just been taking some time and unpacking this book a little bit to give us a better understanding. Then Monday night, Dustin has his show on hauntings and anything paranormal. And then Tuesday night, I have another show, the Real Southern Discomfort Show. And that one, we talk about all things paranormal. We talk about religion. I do investigations. So it's kind of a catch-all paranormal show. But what we've been talking about on Tuesday nights and Sunday nights all kind of coincide together. We've been looking at just kind of the evolution of the understanding of Satan, of demons, of all of these type of spiritual beings, kind of starting from the Old Testament, going through it, looking at things in that time between the Old Testament and New Testament, and then getting into the New Testament and seeing some of these fully developed doctrine on Satan, demons. So we're just kind of following the evolution of things and looking how they developed and how they've changed throughout the years. But Sunday nights is a little more focused. It's strictly on the book of Enoch. However, tonight, for those of you tuning in, you've picked a good night to listen, because what we talk about tonight and what we've been talking about on Tuesday nights is going to mesh perfectly together. We're in the part of the book of Enoch where it talks about the origin of demon spirits. And so we're going to look at that and kind of cross-reference it with the New Testament and some other beliefs on where demon spirits originated from. So that's what we have to look forward to tonight as we crack open the book of Enoch. See who else I've missed here. All right, Junk, Piper Lynn, Space Miner, Pegasus. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, Pegasus. Glad you're stopping by for the first time. Welcome to our little family. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's getting close to that time, so I'm going to go ahead and get up there and get set up. And we're going to go ahead and start looking in the book of Enoch. Bear with me just a minute. All right, if everyone's ready, we're going to go ahead and crack open the book of Enoch. And we're going to be looking at chapters 12 through 15. We're going to spend most of our time in chapter 15, but I'm just going to kind of give you some highlights here so you'll have some context with what's going on. So in these chapters that we have now, we're getting into these dream visions that Enoch is having, and he's being called up into heaven. And it starts off in this section. He has what we've called a theophany. He has a vision of God and a vision of God's sanctuary. And through this vision, he starts to communicate with God. And here's the word of the Lord. We see some more judgment that is pronounced upon the watchers. And we're also going to see judgment that is passed upon the watchers' offspring with the Nephilim. So those of you who are new, just to give you a little background, when we've talked about the watchers, we've connected these with the sons of God in the book of Genesis, in the book of Deuteronomy, in the book of Psalms, that these were these ruling type of angelic beings. They were the most powerful angelic beings that God had created, and their job was to rule the nations and to rule the world in uprightness and in justice, and they don't do that. We see in Genesis 6 where some of them go down and they have sexual relations with the daughters of men, thus producing the Nephilim, or this race of giants, which the book of Enoch described as we had figured it out. It said they're at least 450 feet tall, so these big Godzilla-type giants. And the book of Enoch is all about what happened with these angels when they sinned in their offspring. And Enoch, the scribe, as you're going to see him called, is kind of posted as a watchman. He is getting revelation from God, and he's supposed to pronounce the judgment upon the watchers, but the watchers also want him to intercede for them to God to hopefully lessen their sentence, but it doesn't work out for them like that. So we start off in chapter 12. It says, "Before these things, Enoch was hidden, and no one of the children of man knew where he was hidden, and where he abode, and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers, and his days were with the holy ones." This section right here, for those of you who are familiar with the Genesis account, in chapter 5, we have this brief synopsis of Enoch where it said that he walked with God, and then he was not because God took him. Now, Second Temple Judaism, which is that time period between the Old Testament and New Testament when the book of Enoch was written, they interpreted that section in Enoch differently than we do today. What they saw happening here is this idea where it says, "And Enoch was hidden." A better translation would be "he was taken." And in Second Temple Judaism, they saw this part where it says, "And Enoch walked with God," because he was not, because God took him. Now, those of you who have been trekking with me the whole time on Sundays and on Tuesdays, this is going to be familiar. The word translated God there in Genesis 5 is that huge catch-all word Elohim. And remember, we've talked about Elohim can be a title for God, or it can be a place of residence term to talk about any type of supernatural being in the Old Testament. And this comes into play because in Second Temple Judaism, they interpreted the first Elohim in in chapter 5 of Genesis with Enoch. They interpreted that first Elohim, that and Enoch walked with Elohim. They interpret that as angels. So they understood it as saying, "And Enoch walked with angels." In this section here, the whole book of Enoch, is a commentary on that time when Enoch supposedly walked with the angels. And then he comes back from that time and he preaches the message that he heard. So, and Enoch walked with the Elohim, with the angels. And so he comes back, he delivers his message. And then it says in Genesis 5, and he was not because Elohim took him. They interpret and translate that second Elohim as God himself. So Enoch walks with the angels, gets the vision, preaches the message, and then when he's done preaching his message that is contained in the book of Enoch, he is translated back into the heavens of which he had visions of to be with God. And so this is what's going on here in these opening opening section of chapter 12 here. They're talking about Enoch's life on earth from Genesis 5 and how his days were spent with the watchers. You see this in the book of Jubilees. This is the book of Jubilees is another important book that was written during the same time period. So I doubt we ever go through it, but it was very important. And if you've never read the book of Jubilees, you should, because there's a lot of similarities between it and First Enoch. And the book of Jubilees says that Enoch had spent 6 Jubilees, which is like 294 years. So he spent 294 years with the angels. And then he returns and he gives his message. And then he is taken. So Jubilees kind of affirms what's going on here in this section. So Enoch is commissioned. He's a scribe, and he is to go declare to the watchers their fate. Chapter 13, and Enoch went and said, Azazel, now there's our chief here. Remember the earlier chapters, Azazel presents himself in Enoch as some kind of head Satan figure. He is the one who the book of Enoch attributes all sin to. And it says that Azazel shall have no peace, and will serve a sentence that is gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds. And you shall not have toleration nor request granted to you because of the unrighteousness which you have taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which you have shown to man. So what's interesting here is Azazel, right? Remember we talked about two big leaders in the book of Enoch. You had Semyaza, who at the beginning of the book is first kind of presented as this leader. He's the one who wanted to go down and actually have sex with the daughters of men. But Azazel gets elevated as the chief because he is the one who inspires all of the watchers to teach men this forbidden knowledge. So here Azazel is being judged not for his act. It's not clear whether Azazel ever gets judged for this act of going into the daughters of men and how he is related to that. But we see here in this section, the judgment associated with Azazel is he is standing under judgment for the forbidden knowledge that he is teaching mankind. So he is being held accountable for that. So that is his judgment that is pronounced. And then we have an interesting turn here. If you're following along in the book of Enoch, let's look at verse 10. Actually, I'm going to start in verse 9. And when I awakened, I came unto them, and they were all, talking about the watchers, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in Abel's jail, which is between Lebanon and Sineser, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep. And I began to speak the words of righteousness and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. This word here, Abel's jail, this has been something debated by scholars in trying to figure out where exactly this place is. Now, one of the prominent scholars of the book of Enoch kind of goes against all the common interpretation of this, because this guy thinks that Abel's jail was near Caesarea Philippi, which is found in Matthew 16, 13 through 19. And let me tell you why this is so important that he associates it with Caesarea Philippi. We have this scene in Matthew 16 in the Gospels where Jesus takes his disciples to Caesarea Philippi. And in the place there, it was on this cliff. And at the bottom of this cliff, there was a cave. And it's linked to the reservoir of the cities. And this entrance of the cave is called the gates of hell. It's that's what it was literally called in that culture, because it was where deities and spirits were supposed to come back and forth from the land of the dead to the land of the living. And there was a lot of pagan worship. There was a lot of idolatries. It was originally set up for Baal worship. And so Jesus takes his disciples to this place called the gates of hell, and he starts to ask them, who do people say that I am? And the disciples reply, some say Elijah, some say John the Baptist come back from the dead. And then Jesus asks them, but who do you say that I am? And then Peter confesses, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus says, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. So Jesus is coming, bringing them to the gates of hell to show them that the gospel is actually built upon, the success of the gospel is built upon places like this, because it is a light going and shining into the darkness. And Jesus is taking them to the very gates of hell and saying, these are the type of people that I love. These are the type of people that I came for. And so this gates of hell analogy that he brings them to has its link to this culture. And this scholar in particular says that the gates of hell in Caesarea Philippi is linked all the way back to the book of Enoch, to Abel's jail here. And what makes it significant is we have this cave. Let's say he is right. And let's say this is where the watchers were. At the very beginning, before it was even known as the gates of Hades, the watchers are sitting there at the gates of Hades, waiting for their punishment and waiting for their judgment. And so all the way back in the book of Enoch, if this one particular scholar is right, we're seeing yet another connection to the Gospels. Remember, we talked about how influential the book of Enoch is to the Gospels and how much influence it has played in the New Testament. And if this is correct, then we just have another portion here that the New Testament and Jesus draw on to make a point. The next chapter is all about a theophany. And a theophany is a revealing of God. And these make for some of the most fascinating reads and fascinating texts. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because I want to go ahead and get into the meat of chapter 15 and talking about demons. But what we have here is Enoch having this similar vision. There's lots of similarities to the book of Ezekiel. And so if you want to take some time to go back and compare text, take Enoch chapter 14 and go back and read out of the prophet Ezekiel chapter 1 and chapter 10, when he has these visions of the throne chariot, the cherubim coming out of a whirlwind. You're going to see a lot of similarities in this chapter, such as fire, and hail, and the stars and the heavenly host, that God comes. And with this theophany, a lot of times the theophanies are always accompanied by songs of lament and judgment, and most importantly, restoration. We see this in the book of Enoch. We see this in the book of Ezekiel as well. God comes on his war chariot. He's got judgment to proclaim. And he tells Ezekiel what the judgment is going to be. Ezekiel's commissioned to go speak this judgment. But after the judgment, there's always hope and always restoration. So there is this revealing of God, because he is about to pronounce a judgment upon the spirit of the Nephilim, on the offspring of the Watchers. So here is the fascinating part that we're going to camp out here for a little bit. Chapter 15. And he, God, answered and said to me, I heard his voice. Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice. And go say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them, you should intercede for men, not men for you. Wherefore have you left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourself with the daughters of men, and taken to yourself wives, and done like the children of the earth, and begotten giants as your sons? And though you were holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourself with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those who die and perish. He goes on to talk about this judgment. Verse 8. And now the giants who were produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits in heaven, shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. Here in the book of Enoch, we have the origin of unclean or demon spirits. Now, this is not, unfortunately, the common view that is held among Christians. And that is unfortunate, because it's held by a lot of scholars. And when we look back in church history, we're going to look at two of the most common views, and this being one of them. These demon spirits, the question is that scholars ask, who are they and where did they come from? What we're going to see here when we look into the Gospels and look at this, especially the book of Enoch, we see that demon spirits, unclean spirits, and fallen angels are two separate categories. They are not one category. They're not interchangeable terms. A fallen angel is not a demon spirit. Actually, the belief that demons were fallen angels did not come around in church history until the 5th century. Up until then, there were two majority views. There was the view here, espoused in the book of Enoch, in which the New Testament authors held and the gospel writers held that the unclean spirits, the demon spirits, were the spirits of the Nephilim who died and were executed and judged and died in the flood. The other view is that demon spirits were the ghosts of the wicked dead people. Before we expound on those views, I want to just kind of give you a rundown and show you how demon spirits are not fallen angels and how the two are different in some of their different characteristics. The first thing I have here, angels, they do have a spiritual form, right? We've seen that in the book of Enoch. We see that in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. They have power to come down in bodily form. Okay, the Watchers came down in bodily form and slept with the daughters of men. In the book of Genesis, you have more angels in Sodom and Gomorrah that come down in bodily form. So every time we see an angel, it is able to take bodily form. So if angels, whether good angels or fallen angels, can take bodily form, then there is no need for a fallen angel to seek out a body to possess or inhabit, like we see demon spirits in the Gospels are so bent on doing, on having a body to inhabit. And the second thing, angels, both good and evil, have the power to go back and forth from the heavenly realm to earth. Though what we'll see eventually, evil angels lose their access to the throne of God and are cast down to dwell on the earth after the death and resurrection of Christ. Demons are never shown to have had this power. Angels are also not limited in their mobility. Angels can go anywhere. Demon spirits, what we see here in Enoch and what we read in the Gospels, is that they are bound to the waste places. They are bound to what we've talked about being the wilderness, that place where demons and darkness and sin dwell. The demons were subject to that land, to that dwelling. They couldn't go back and forth between realms. Another point, Satan has the ability to transform his appearance into an angel of light. So if he can do that, we can assume that other fallen angels can do the same. And these type of angels like Satan were the powerful sons of God. Demons are nowhere listed as being able to do this. Beings like Satan and the glorious ones, the sons of God, they are not to be rebuked by humans, according to Jude 8 and 9, but rather we are to pray that the Lord deals with them. Demons, on the other hand, can be rebuked. They can be bound. They can be cast out. The lake of fire is said to be for Satan and his angels. All right, it's interesting that Jesus uses the term angel when he could have used the term for unclean spirit or demon spirit that is so rampant in the Gospels, but he doesn't. He specifically says fallen angels. Some angels have a ruling authority and engage in combat with other angels, while some function as messengers. Demons are never presented as fighting against good angels, but rather spending their days afflicting humans. All right, those are some differences between angels and demons. More differences, especially when we look at demons. The gospel writers present demons as needing bodies to inhabit. Demons are never called angels or fallen angels, but either demons, evil spirits, or unclean spirits. Demons possess and control and afflict people. Demons have unusual physical strength. Demons have limited mobility. We talked about that. Demons can be directly rebuked and cast out. And demons have the ability to deceive. So when we look at this, and we look at what a fallen angel is and a demon spirit is, we see that the two are very, very different things. Now let's talk about this view here in Enoch, right? That the demon spirits were the spirits of the dead Nephilim. And this carries over into the Gospels, right? We see here that in Enoch, they are called unclean or evil spirits. And we see that the Greek text, right? Y'all remember I told you Enoch has like a bunch of different texts. There's parts of it, we have the complete Ethiopic, and we have parts of it in Greek. They think the original was written in Aramaic, so there was a bunch of different languages. When we look at the Greek text of Enoch, and we look at these words for demon and unclean, or excuse me, for unclean spirits, we see it's these same Greek phrases that are used in the gospel accounts for unclean spirit, or an evil spirit, or deceitful spirits. So based on the language, it is evident that Jesus and the disciples understood by their very use of the word and use of the phrases that the unclean spirits of Enoch from the Nephilim were the demon spirits that were so prevalent in the gospel. It's also interesting that, Jesus was very good about correcting interpretations that the Pharisees or the Sadducees had. Like if they were misinterpreting a word or a phrase, he always pointed that out. He never does this with the term demon. He never does this with the term unclean spirit or with evil spirit. He doesn't say, no, like I know you guys, the prevalent view of the day is that unclean spirits, evil spirits are the spirits of the watchers. But I'm here to tell you, when I'm saying unclean spirit, I'm not really meaning the spirit of the watchers. Or the spirit of the Nephilim. I'm meaning a fallen angel. He doesn't do that anywhere. He goes with the normal understanding of these phrases in the culture. So that is view number one. That was the most prominent view in Jesus' day and in the early church. The second view of Jesus' day about demon spirits is a little bit more nuanced, is a little bit different. You heard me mention it earlier. It is that demon spirits were the ghost of the wicked dead. So this view does not see them as any type of divine human hybrid spirit. It basically sees them as evil ghosts, right? You had the ghost of the righteous, but then the ghost of the really, really, really wicked, evil people were the ones that turned into demons. Now, how did this happen? I think we're only left to speculate, just like we have different theories on why some ghosts stay here and why others move on. And when it comes down to it, we don't really know. These are just speculative ideas that we've come up with the data that we have to try to fill in the gaps to help it make sense. And it's the same thing. Why would the spirits of these very, very wicked people be cursed to Rome and cursed as demon spirits? I don't know. There's not a straightforward answer to that. All we are left with is the writings and the beliefs when we go back and look through church history. And unfortunately, there's not given any more explanation than what I'm about to tell you. If you think back a couple of weeks, those of you who were tuned in for this on a Tuesday night, we talked about the Greek word demonii, or daemon. And we talked about how in classical Greek and in Hesiod, how this term could be used to refer to demigods. It could be used to refer to the dead in general. Daemon could be used to refer to spirits of the wicked dead. And when we get into this New Testament study and looking at the early church fathers, there's a couple things I want to point out to you. Bear with me just a second. All right, there are two scholars, if you want to do more study on this, two scholars today who hold to the view that the demons mentioned in the New Testament in the Gospel are ghosts of the wicked dead. Their names are Peter Bolt and Alexander Campbell. That's Peter Bolt and Alexander Campbell. They go back to the early Greek days of Hesiod, like I was telling you. And their argument hinges on how that word demon is understood. They argue that the early Greek culture, Second Temple Judaism, and in the days of Jesus and in the early church, all understood this word kind of the same way. The word demon is used to refer to the ghost of dead men. Jewish historians like Philo and Josephus both understood demons to be the spirits of the departed. Philo writes, the souls of dead men are called demons. Josephus, Jewish historian, says demons are the spirits of wicked men who enter into living men and destroy them unless they are so happy as to meet with speedy relief. Church fathers who held this view, Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, Origen, all held to this view that demons were the ghosts of the wicked dead. Justin Martyr, here's a quote from him. Those who are seized and tormented by the souls of the dead, whom all call demons and madmen. So this evidence here seems to indicate that there was this understanding in the early church, in Jesus's day, and even among the Jews, that demons were the spirits of the wicked dead. And Campbell argues about this word demon, kind of what I just argued, that if Jesus was going to correct a term and how it was used, he usually would do that. But here, when he mentions the word demon all throughout the gospel, he does not correct their understanding of it, which, according to these two scholars, would be that demon means ghost of the wicked dead. And actually, when you take these two views of the spirits of the Nephilim and the wicked dead and put them together, they kind of fit very, very nicely, because when you think about it, what are spirits of the Nephilim? In a way, they are spirits of the wicked dead, of some of the most wicked creatures, according to the book of Enoch, that were ever to walk the face of the earth. Now, whether we draw a hard and fast line between these two views and say, Nephilim, the spirit of the Nephilim, that's the most convincing argument. That's what I'm holding to. Or you go over here and you say, no, it's the ghost of the wicked dead. That seems to me the most fitting argument. No matter which one you choose, the reality of it is that demon spirits are not fallen angels. It's one of these two views. But it in no way could be a fallen angel. So this means that demons, a lot of times, they are not like the horror movies project them. They are not these totally inhuman spirits. There is some sense of humanity, which is why they like to possess. It's why they didn't want to be cast into the abyss, which was the place of the dead. And we see that in Jesus casting the demons out of the Gennesaret maniac, and the demons are begging, please don't send us back to the abyss. Send us into these pigs. All right, the abyss there, that was the place of the dead. They didn't want to go there. So Jesus sends them into the herd of pigs. So no matter what view you fall upon, the thing that I think that a lot of scholars today agree is that demons are not fallen angels, that they are two separate categories, and that this has been the belief ever since the intertestamental period, Second Temple Judaism, when they started to really develop a more detailed demonology and begin to really start to develop this idea of there being a chief arch nemesis of God, which by the time we get to the New Testament becomes Satan himself. So this is one of the most intriguing parts of the book of Enoch, especially for people who have never heard this, or especially if all you've ever been taught and raised on was that demon spirits were fallen angels. We see that is actually a very indefensible view based on the text. So this will give you some food for thought. And what we see here in Enoch, too, about these demon spirits is that they oppress, destroy, attack, do battle. They hate humanity. The New Testament goes on to talk about how they deceive and how there are doctrines of demons that seek to turn people away from God's light, turn people away from God's truth. They seek to twist things about God, anything that they can do to pull humanity away from seeking after God. These spirits will do it. They can also attach. You've heard us talk about attachments on the show. They can also pound on your emotions. They can pound on you mentally, psychologically. And so every time you go into investigations, always have it in the back of your mind that not that it happens all the time, but there is always a possibility that you can come across a dark entity like a demon spirit. And so if you're just now getting into the investigations, like I say, like Dustin says, everybody on the channel, make sure that you're going with somebody who is experienced, who knows what they are doing, and not going in half-cocked, not going in to make a video just to get a lot of views, not going in to make a name for yourself. You want to get somebody who goes in with the right knowledge and the right motives, because there are demons out there. They do seek to kill, steal, and destroy. It's not something that we should live in fear of, but just something that we should be aware of, that as we do investigations, there's always a chance that we can cross paths with something like this. And this type of knowledge is more just to help you in your mind know what you are dealing with. As we've said before, we probably won't ever deal with fallen angels in our investigation. They have ruling authority. They're the ones over nations, over areas. They're not engaged with really interacting with the human race. That is the demon spirit's job. So anything malevolent that you would encounter in an investigation could be a demon or just a ghost who is in a really, really bad mood and doesn't feel like talking. So this is all that I had for today. I wanted to really bring out this section on demons and talk about that. We have covered it, I guess, about as thoroughly as we can, and it will come up in other sections throughout this book. But this kind of will serve as our discussion. So on Tuesday nights, we probably won't mention anything about demons again, just kind of like we're not really hitting on Azazel anymore. That will be for our time in the book of Enoch, since it is mentioned so much in the book. So that is all. We're going to go down here. I'm going to come down here and see if we can get in here, and I can get in the chat, and I can take any questions that you might have about what we talked about this evening.
Hey, brother Zeke. Can you hear us?
Hello. What have you done?
Can you hear us, Zeke?
All right. I'm going to get on here on the chat, everybody.
I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, you might be on your headset.
No, I just disconnected
in?
Bluetooth. Can you hear us?
Trying to find any questions.
Can't hear him. He's not his question. Yeah, he's not for download. All right, turn him up. Hello, everybody. And Vickie's over here. This is her hand. Woohoo!
Can you? You can hear us? Can Zeke hear us?
Pull at your ear.
I might have to go get my. Let me go get my.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Now, give me just a moment. I'm trying to get back in the chat. All right, well, I'm not seeing any questions. I don't know if Dustin or Vickie, are y'all around? All right. Well, don't see that we have any questions for this week.
There, now you should be able to see us.
Can you hear us?
For this. Hey, there y'all are.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Woohoo!
There
I
y'all.
got all three of us together at one time.
3 and 1. I
Nikki's
don't know.
right here too, but she's just gonna throw her little hand over here. She's eating.
I don't know if they can handle all that also.
Let's see. Okay, anybody have any questions? Saturn says he likes his demon as much as my angel. They both serve a purpose. Enoch is the man, so to speak.
Yeah, Enoch really is. He's a fascinating character.
Can everybody hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
What? I can't hear Zeke.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me.
Is it us?
We can't hear Zeke.
Can everybody in chat hear me?
It is. Oh, no. Okay, now we can hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got you now. Good job. Good deal.
I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Dustin running stuff over here.
Watch out.
I know it.
Here's the mouse. You can use the mouse and highlight whatever.
Now, Enoch is a very fascinating character study. There was a lot of mystery behind him, and Second Temple Judaism just kind of took that mystery and ran with it and unpacked it and left us with these stellar stories and books, which are just beyond fascinating. And mining through and seeing the belief system of that day.
Welcome, Paradox.
We was listening to what you was talking about and you preaching your lecture, and it was good. We was all listening to it. We was eating supper, but we was all listening.
Yeah, Vickie cooked a big old meal, so we had to sit down and eat it. It was.
I'm jealous.
Oh man, it was awesome. This woman can cook. Let me tell you. I was drooling while she was even making it up, and it was still raw hamburger meat at that point.
I love you too, sis.
Zeke got a surprise, and everyone else got a surprise. You get to see the crew, man. You get to see all of it.
This is a crew.
This is our crew. Vickie's right here.
Yeah, Saturnian. Yes, if you go back and watch the first episode I did on Enoch for the Sunday shots from several weeks ago, I get into that and I talk about how it's in the Ethiopian Bible and how it should be included in the canon, and I give my defense of that and why I think it should be. And I go into why it was left out and how it got shunned too. So yeah, I give all my thoughts on that. I think the very first episode of the Book of Enoch that we do.
Yeah, this has been a very good study.
It's been fun doing it. I have preached through a lot of books, but never Enoch. So
yeah, and you won't hear very many people preaching on Enoch.
No, you get run out of churches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the good part about it. We get to hear the stuff everybody else is trying to keep from you.
Yeah.
When in all reality, you need every key aspect to even make up your mind.
That's right.
Yeah, see, I didn't know these alternate views of demons was even around until I found the Book of Enoch in college and started reading it. And was like, well, this is different and fascinating all at the same time. And it challenged my viewpoints on some things and how I understood stuff in the New Testament. So always learning to grow and change.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's baffling me because I've been in church my whole life. Mama took us, stringing us by the hair ever since I was a baby. Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and I never heard any of this, and
I found it.
and it kind of makes you when you start putting it together, it kind of makes you think like, wait a minute,
Yeah. Well, and like I've said, it's really sad because like Book of Enoch is huge in all of the scholarship circles. Like everybody knows about it. Everybody agrees with its connection to the New Testament and the impact it's had. It's just that never seems to quite work its way down into the churches.
right. So why don't they preach on it? Why don't they teach on it?
It's because it's too complicated. It's too much to mess with. It creates too many difficulties, and it opens up a bunch of can of worms that
Right.
if you're not prepared to deal with and talk about, it can be overwhelming. And it's much easier just to say demons are fallen angels. That's what the Bible says. It's just easier than having to go through and get into the original language and
Right.
look at the words and how they were used and the context. It's work.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can see where you'd have to go back and they would have to go back and kind of redo some learning, some teaching, and not too many people would be too keen or open to that. Probably be a lot more split churches and, different things like that.
Yeah.
Hello, Teresa. Welcome.
Hey, Teresa. So.
Meaning that ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I read the book of Quran too, son, and that helped the situation with CG when she had her scrying mirror and it was talking in a different language. And I heard verses from the book of Quran, and I told Zeke about it, and he got his book out. And sure enough, I was right. It was passages of blessings being read. And if I would have never read the book, I would have never known.
Yeah, that was wild, man. Experienced that on my feed. That was so cool.
That I liked it because it shows, because I've said it before, and it shows it's proof that you know what you're talking. You've done the research. You know all these different things, and everybody else should know more than just one. Even if it's not your thing, it doesn't hurt for the knowledge. It only helps.
Yeah, I've never read the Quran either.
Yeah, it's worth reading just to get the familiarity with it.
I read an English version, and then I had someone actually read it in the actual language it was supposed to be in, and that's even though it was in a different language, I still remembered. I knew
The Arabic, yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, brother.
Yeah.
For you to remember that and it not be your native language, that's awesome.
I can't speak it, but I can understand a lot of it.
Yeah.
That sounds like me. I have trouble speaking English every day.
Then now I can talk a little bit
She
about
speaks that country slang English.
I speak country.
She can speak country.
Vidimoste Sutra Kakosi, and like hi, how are you? And I'm good, thank you. And
Look, we saw the Amish people going down the road a little while ago. Look. Oh.
Screenshot. It's gonna
be that's true.
The only one we're missing now is Zeke to be right here in the middle of us, but it's happening in August, y'all.
In August.
In August, y'all
I'll
better
be
be
cooking
there.
in too.
When's it on the site? Available?
August the 19th. I don't know. We're still waiting on the site.
Yeah, I checked today and I didn't see anything.
No, he's still having the ticket issue is what he's having.
Okay.
For it to pull up for the tickets to actually go through for purchase.
Can you tell them about tomorrow or no?
No.
Right. Okay.
No.
Never mind. Sorry.
That's just for us.
Zeke, we'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the after party. Don't. So after the music video that plays for the inspiration, don't jump off. Stay on for the after party.
All right.
That's what Saturn says.
Because we get
Some say religion is control, but for me, it's just a mystery we're all trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Exactly. It goes hand in hand with paranormal.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So
Yeah.
we're all talking about the history. And the whole key to it is because none of us truly know. And we're trying to what? To figure it out.
To figure it out, right?
It's human nature.
Yeah.
And it's a mystery, you know. I mean, you know.
It's very, to put it bluntly, but bittersweetly. It's one that we can, we come across, and you come up with some strange situations that you try to figure out, why is this happening? But the one main proof of the paranormal that will happen is when it's our time to be in that realm. That's when all our answers will be done for sure, with no doubts, no nothing. But until then, like she said, it's human nature to still try and figure out those answers.
Yep. Yeah, the paranormal, spirituality, and religion, they all intersect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And that's why we're glad that Zeke does these shows, and
Amen.
because we all have different views, even amongst all three of us. We all have, or four of us, I'm sorry, we have our own views, but we all still come together and believe a lot at the same. And same with all the views. There might be some people that don't, and you get to learn from Zeke.
Yeah, we're all learning.
Yeah, we all learn from each other.
And we give respect to each other, no matter if we believe what the other one says or not. We still give each other respect.
Right.
Big happy family.
Yep. And my thing is
Look out.
there's not a lot of
And you bird.
look at him.
Yeah, he's a big old dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to see more
Betty.
Christians and people in my community involved in the paranormal, and they're just not. And that is unfortunate. And so, a lot of this I, do for that community as well, to help, bring others into it and teach them what it is and what it isn't.
I don't think I fit. No. I don't think I fit. Oh my God.
I need to put him in my suitcase, put him on the plane, and take him home.
And you had 11 people in here when I was, because I was watching before I come up, and you did have a good group in here watching and listening to you, Zeke.
Yeah,
you did good. Hey, Sage.
Hey, Sage.
Hi, Sage. Oh, we're all going in line. No, buddy. No. You done had your 5 minutes of fame.
I wonder why it still says. So I got, no, there you go. Okay, so now you're the 13th. So this one I can remove because that one's you. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to come in.
Yeah, Vickie's trying to come in on her phone too.
Well, we're testing, and we still got to get Zeke set up here because.
There you go. There's another question for you, Zeke.
A scholar on religion. My focus is on Old and New Testament and the intertestamental period. That's my main focus. Also, a lot of the ancient Near East cultures that influenced the Hebrew people. That is a definite area of study of mine. So those Semitic religions, for sure. I have three scholarly degrees in the field of religion and divinity. So, and
yeah, I was going to tell you to tell him scholarship and stuff. All the things that Because he's got it. He is a scholar of religion, that's for sure.
Trying to help folks out.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do. You do good.
Hey, can you send me that one with all 4 of us that you've got?
Yeah.
Where you put it?
Anybody else have any questions?
I'll keep it open a few more minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You can still do it even when we're not live. You can
That's
get
what I
on
was
at
going to
any
do.
time.
I'm gonna switch it the next one.
Yeah, you know what, Teresa? I feel the same exact way. I wish I had all that up in there and could keep it straight.
Yeah. It just you do it long enough and it starts to kind of stay in there.
Yeah.
Doesn't leak out as much. But no, I still have to write notes.
Anybody got any comments? If you don't have questions that you want to have a conversation with Zeke about, do you got anything you want to say? Well,
No.
Buddy's talking to you.
If anybody thinks of one later, you can always ask it on the Tuesday night show.
Mm-hmm.
Since those kind of overlap and we're talking about the same stuff.
What are you going to do for Tuesday night?
Well, I am trying to decide if I'm either going to go back over the stuff we didn't finish on Satan, or I'm going to go back and finish that investigation at that cemetery. We were looking for Alice the Witch.
Oh, yeah.
There was a whole section that we did not get to investigate.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm itching to get back out there. So it depends on the weather and stuff here. A lot of that has kept me in that part that I want to go in. Even last time when I went out there, it hadn't been raining and it was still just saturated.
Really?
I'd like you to go back out there. I want to see, but make sure you go out there before it's dark.
Oh no, that you're thinking of Frenchtown Road. Yes, I'm gonna have to do that one during the daytime.
Yeah. He went to this other one and you did one half that night, but you said there was still another section you were able. It was you and your son.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That was good.
So yeah, I'm itching to get back in doing a little investigation.
Oh, let me turn my volume down.
That's me.
There you go. You don't have to.
I'm too close. It's okay.
No, I muted it. You're okay.
Okay, go ahead. You have fun. Oh, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
All right, we was. Oh, wait a minute. Let me turn my volume up.
Vickie? Oh, we won't go here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we was getting my new phone to where I can do this. All right, so here's a question. How old is dog and name? Buddy Dog. His name is Mr. Buddy. And he turned a year old on St. Patty's Day, March 17th. Oh, but he's a moose. All right, buddy. Sorry, guys.
Oh, he's handsome.
Oh, look at him. Can't hear you. I can't hear y'all.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Sorry. I accidentally muted. Or Buddy did. I don't know.
Buddy did it.
Buddy did it. Look.
We'll blame it on Buddy.
Look. He's got sea green eyes. Would you be still for 2 seconds? Okay, so this is his chair. This is an oversized chair. Hold on.
And that's
Hold on.
his chair.
Yeah, this is literally his chair. Let me try and flip around. Hold up. How do I do that? I forgot. Settings. Camera. All right. Hold on. Maybe.
There you go.
Yeah. No.
That's it. I have to get back to the chair.
You know why?
I will.
Oh, I think
Oh, y'all, they're getting it.
Oh.
yeah, because that now go do it.
Hi, Mayhem.
There you
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, Mayhem.
go. Something down.
Here. Get up here. Get up here. All right. All right. This is an oversized chair. Lay down. Sit. Sit.
And it really is oversized.
Sit. Yep. See, I could fit on this section alone, and when he stretches, he goes from one arm to the other, like
Yeah.
literally.
Zeke,
Look at his sea green eyes.
Oh,
He's like, "Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello." All right.
He's very friendly.
You get to see Zeke again in August.
Yeah. Remember Zeke?
There we go.
All right. Okay, Dustin, put it back on Zeke.
She got you.
Dog lover, don't mind cats. Yeah. Well, I got 2 cats, a dog, 2 kids, and a husband.
And you got
yeah.
Oh, and a brother and a sister. I got 2 brothers. One's in Louisiana and needs to bring his butt up, and the other 2's here. Oh, he's so handsome. Thank you. Guys, y'all got any more? Y'all got any more comments or questions for Zeke? Hits are the best. That's why mainstream try to paint them dark. But he is the most mellow. Like he's just puppy and he's just wanting to love right now. But most of the time he lays over here and he's just a puppy. He's not, he's not even completely a year and a half yet. And he just lays here and he loves, and he's good with the cats. But I really think he's got a Great Dane in him because he's way bigger than a typical American pit.
It really is. I ain't gonna lie.
Let's see. Good evening, Mayhem and Miracles.
Hi, Mayhem, ma'am.
Always good to have Mayhem.
She's always humble and kind. She preaches and she also practices what she preaches, just like we do.
There you go, Zeke. There's your comment.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. Did you see this one?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I said. I wish I could put it in mine and be able to retain it, put it all together.
Oh, and Zeke, while I'm here, we'll get to review some more footage from the last time we were at Octagon. Remember, I left my camera down here?
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
There may be some more stuff that'll be coming out there.
Saturn, you're right. They used to be nanny dogs. Absolutely. And that's the only time you will see him go crazy is when one of my boys, my youngest kids, I don't know, I think it was like 2 months ago, my youngest boy, he seen a spider on the wall and screamed bloody murder, and Buddy went flying in there barking. He was fixing to eat somebody up. Would you quit? I want to keep on.
last chance. Anyone got questions for Zeke? Or
Yeah, and we do have, it sounds like Tuesday night's going to be really good. Either way you decide to go, Zeke, I'm excited about it. Either one.
Yeah. We'll see.
Thanks,
We'll see what
Megan.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
guys, don't forget. Now, we all love Zeke, and we need y'all to hit that like button and share it out for him, okay?
Yes.
And give him a bunch of hearts up or ghosties or skull emojis because he did all this by himself till we got there.
Yep.
Yep. He was totally solo.
Can't do it without y'all. That's for sure.
Oh, we love you.
Oh, you did good.
You're our favorite pastor.
Yay.
We were sitting here eating right here on this table and had you center. We were just
Yep.
watching the whole night while we were eating. It was like, we got to hurry up and swallow this down.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, y'all. Thank you.
But it was definitely good.
I'm
You missed a awesome meatloaf.
Yeah, we had the meatloaf when he was there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got to taste it last time I was in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, it was good. Oh, that's sweet.
Okay. I'm scrolling, Zeke, just to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Zeke is knowledgeable. Got my vote.
Oh, thanks, man.
Mayhem.
Appreciate it.
Nice to meet the folks on panel. We're so glad you're here, Mayhem.
Thank you, PW.
Hi, John. Welcome.
Oh, here's a
Hi,
question.
John.
Did you see this one?
Why pastors don't have to pay taxes? You do. I worked as a pastor for a while. You pay self-employed taxes. So while like your contribution to a church is tax deductible, like we still have to pay a certain type of taxes. It's a little convoluted. That's one thing I don't miss about being a pastor is having to do taxes because it was so complicated.
Did you see this question?
Yes, Enoch was taken. That is the belief that he was translated up to heaven. So kind of what we talked about tonight. He went and got his revelation about the angels, came back, preached on the earth for a while, and then God took him back to heaven.
There was it's two men that did not die a natural human death, and Enoch's one of them, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Elijah.
And Elijah. But then at the end of time, God's going to bring them back, and they will have to die a natural death like every other man. Correct?
That is one of the many beliefs on the end times and how it works out. There is a section of Christian eschatology, doctrine of last things, that do believe that the two supernatural witnesses in the book of Revelation are going to be Enoch and Elijah.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what I've heard. Now, would there ever be a time that you'll like teach on Revelation? Because Revelation is such a hard chapter to.
Yeah, we can do that at some point, and it's a lot. We can look at the different interpretations of it.
I love Revelations. That's actually my favorite out of the whole Bible.
Is it?
Yes, I know I'm weird.
I'm telling you, it can be scary.
It is.
And it's just, when you start thinking about these things with seven horns and, all the,
And the trumpets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you see this one, Zeke?
Is Enoch of high power. Now, I know there's different traditions on how Enoch is treated, whether it's in Jewish theology, Christian, paganism, mysticism. There's some different things. From my perspective, I would definitely see Enoch as an example to follow. He's listed as an example of faith in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, where the author gives a whole bunch of people's faith that was commendable and that we should imitate. And Enoch is on that list. So I would definitely consider Enoch as a person worth imitating.
Right. And wasn't he favored,
Yeah.
That's the belief, that he went with his physical body.
Yeah.
Up into heaven.
That's the way I would say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That is the $1 million question right there.
Right.
deciphering a religious outlook on what happened to humanity. Yep. And what happened to angels? What happened to demons? That is the quest.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm still scrolling. So give me just a minute. Let me.
Saturn says he has many revelations. What does he mean by that? I would like to know.
Let's see what he says.
Let's see, I get arrogant when talking religion. Not many people know what I do.
Well, you are more than welcome to come in here and conversate with all of us.
Oh,
We don't judge, or we don't, whatever you want to call it.
Right?
Yep.
yeah.
We encourage it here. As long as it's respectful and polite, and like, because we never argue, we all talk normal, like family.
And like they said, I mean, we may not all believe the same things, and that's okay. But we're here learning, and you take what you feel that is left, for you.
Exactly.
That's right. We don't crucify each other. We bless one another, and you take out of it what you need to take out of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And if you don't believe, that's okay too. We still welcome you with open arms.
Because there's still other things that Zeke and all of us talk about that will, pique your interest.
All right. Saturn says I have revelations about myself.
Okay.
All right.
You are more than welcome to tell us what you believe, honey.
Yeah, you're welcome to share.
And I do got to I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to PW.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, thank you for joining in chat and keeping it going. We love you and we appreciate all your help.
Every show.
Every
He
show.
is here.
Yep.
Thank you, PW.
He's like a all-star mod.
Yes.
Yep. Saturn says belief is irrelevant respectfully. So we can respectfully.
Yep. Let's see.
PW's emojis.
Absolutely. Belief can make you or break you.
Belief can be a powerful tool within oneself.
Absolutely.
That's true.
And please feel free to ask Zeke any questions.
Hi, Bud Files.
Yeah, I just piggybacking off what he says. Like, I'm I haven't shared my full story. I need to do that one day. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I need to share my story, my battle with addiction. But that's one of the biggest thing that they teach us addicts is the power of belief and faith and finding your higher power and how that aids in recovery and strength and stuff. So faith is a powerful tool for the human heart and mind.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah. No matter what you have faith or belief in.
I know it's helped me through a lot of hard times in my life. If I didn't have that, I don't think that I could have went on. The faith and the believing of what I happened to believe, like, losing my family the way I did. I just know that, one day I'm going to have them. I'm going to get to see them. If I didn't have that belief or feel that, then I would be messed up. I'd be totally messed up if I knew I'd never be able to see my mom again. I just can't deal with that,
Yeah.
And PW says, I just think the paranormal brings all the elements of supernatural and religion, which I find it so fascinating. Actually, yes.
Yeah, it does. It gives us a platform to talk about all these different ideas and beliefs. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Saturn, that's true too. Perfect statement. Belief can make it break. It can. It can go either way. It absolutely can.
And we're proof that everyone can have different opinions and we all still get along. And we're even every week we do these, everyone that comes in and all of us together, you can have good, positive live streams with different opinions and still get along and still be a family.
Yep.
Mhm. Oh, Saturn says he's a recovered coke addict.
Hey.
Congrats on that.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
Yes.
Yep. Big accomplishment.
PW says, I do have a lot of ideas and research. And you're right, Zeke. I like to educate myself. Absolutely.
And that's ways. I mean, if and I've heard even Zeke say it. I mean, there's a lot of preachers and pastors out there that teach different things. Well, the Bible also says, show thyself to be approved, which means, study, look it up, for yourself. Don't just say, well, my preacher said this, so this must be true, search it for yourself,
Yeah.
I tell my kids all the time, a dumb man knows it all, but a smart man is constantly learning.
Right. I like what Vickie had said one time before. She does a lot of reading. She loves to read because reading is knowledge, You can learn a lot just by, reading, Even like your books, Vic. I mean, how would we know what your books is about and this and that if we didn't dig into them and read them,
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Teresa. She says, that's why I like it here. Everyone can have their own beliefs and we can still get along and be respectful of each other, which is what Christianity belief is. I mean, true Christianity is like that. It's supposed to be open and abundance of love and sharing and, you don't have to have a certain faith to show love and kindness and support to one another.
Well, and not only that statement that you just read that she said, that is really kind of what this channel is based on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Saturn says, two kinds of people, those who know who authority is and those who want others to control them. I'm too hard-headed. There ain't nobody controlling me. Except for God. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and my love for my family.
That's right.
Yeah. God and the love for my family. That's the only thing that controls me. Otherwise, I'd probably be in a pokey every other week.
Oh, Vickie.
I love you, Vic. I know you be coming making visitation. Now, sis, we can't keep doing this.
Come lay hands, Vickie.
I know, gotta lay hands on me.
He's gonna be bringing the holy water. Look, I got some holy water at home. I can bring it on the next trip.
PW says Hollywood just put a lot of inaccurate information to people on Supernatural. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't believe everything in TV. But the funny thing about TV is, even though you can't believe everything, just like a lot of these movies, most of it is based on some actual fact or fairy tale or something. There's something that has been talked about in the past, whether it be a fact base, whether it be folklore. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Folklore, something. So with that being said, when you hear something on TV or when you see something in a movie, don't take the TV for what it says. do your own research. Study about what it's really about. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. I mean, and that's why I like to give you the names of scholars.
Yes.
So you can go look at this stuff on your own and research it on your own.
And don't forget too, everyone. Vickie and I were talking about this as Zeke was talking. Everyone interprets what they read differently too, and that's another thing. And that's what's so great, I think, about us as a family and everyone else. You know, and you can, you know, what Zeke, what Zeke is reading. And then if you're reading it, you could be like something, not reading it in a total different way of like, wait a minute here. You know, so we're getting everyone's perspective of you know, what they're talking about.
Well, Doc just texted me. I'm going to go in the room and call him and tell him good night.
You want to take a picture of all that over there? You should take
I
pictures.
did.
Like,
I did. I'm going to sit to him. I'm not going to rubber this face down.
So.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, if you like reading horror, I have stuff out there. I have discounted books on Godless. You can get some of my stories. You can get my Johnny Walker Ranger books. Volume 1 and Volume 2 are up there. I have a Southern Discomfort series that I write for Godless. Those stories are only 50 cents. There's Johnny Walker Ranger Volume 2. So if you like horror comedy, if you like sarcastic, mean, offensive, politically incorrect, in your face, humor, kind of like Army of Darkness, Ash versus Evil Dead, whole Evil Dead franchise, then you'll enjoy Johnny Walker Ranger Demon Slayer. That's the current Southern Discomfort issue, number 4. Tetrament Rising. It's a very seedy, gritty. You'll get the underbelly side of Baton Rouge, Louisiana in that. That's a cult horror movie, cult horror story. So those are on Godless for 50 cents.
or if you're coming to our August 19th event, fundraiser at Octagon Hall, you can purchase them right there and have Mr. Zeke autograph them yourself.
Yep. I will have my books. I'll have my whole Dreadful Death series. And my Johnny series. So I have 5 books available to buy.
Wow. I'm excited. I can't wait. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay.
It's all right here. See, that's another thing. I can show everybody now how to use all of it. And when you come back to Kentucky, by then you'll be on here before that, but I can show you how to do all this too.
Yeah.
And I do believe I've got your links too. People can look in the description for your books for the 50 cents and Amazon too. Both of them are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dustin.
You're more than welcome.
Yep. Different vibrations. We talked about that in an episode on quantum physics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Completely agree.
And in August, you get to add someone to a picture too.
I know. I can't wait.
Oh, you're welcome, PW. You're very welcome, PW.
And don't forget, anytime you buy a book, whether it's 50 cents or off of Amazon or whatever, it's all going to the fund to get the Ecto-Bagel.
Yes. That is, the regulars will know, my fiance, Bethany, that is going to be our love chariot. And I can't tell you how excited she is that I'm going to be buying this with all the money that I am able to save through y'all purchasing my books. It's probably going to take several decades before I buy it, but it is in her future, and I'm going to be pulling that station wagon behind it. Yep, I sure would love to roll up to Octagon Hall in that thing, but I don't know if that's going to be a possibility.
And someone wants to say hi to someone too. I won't say the name, but there we go.
Who are you, friend?
Zeke knows.
Y'all are gonna get killed.
It's going to whack us both with a frying pan, Zeke.
I'm on video. I'm just gonna sit back and video.
All right. Well, if no one else has any questions, then whenever
Zeke Mobile.
like I said, Zeke, when it's over after the inspirational music video and song play, stay up for the after party.
All right. Yeah, guys.
You have to come up sometime, Mayhem. You don't have to show up if you don't want to, but I know you're a really good inspirational person, and I think you'd like talking to Zeke.
Oh yeah.
You.
Oh, thank you, Saturn. You too.
We're fixing to allow up here, but Mayhem is one of them that we would definitely must allow up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big thank you for everybody for listening and joining in the chat. So I got nothing else, y'all.
All right.
Thank you for your love and support, everybody.
Yeah, and thank you for supporting
Ooh.
Zeke. And
There's a good one.
uh,
Pammy said one day we should talk about fairies. I'm game.
All right. We'll make a note of that.
that would be one for like on a Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So.
Buddy, quit.
He's got the chew toy.
He does.
All right. Well, with that said, then Zeke is done, and on behalf of Yo Baby, she's busy right now, but on behalf of her too, and myself and Vickie and everybody, thank you so much for your support, your continuing support, and your love. Greatly appreciated. And remember, to everyone, we may be nothing, but to someone, we are everything. And with that said, I'm queuing up the music video.
Is this what giving up feels like? I don't know, I don't know. Tell me, have I lost my mind? Nowhere to go, so far from home. Is this what giving up feels like? I don't know, I don't know. Tell me, have I lost my mind? So I break these walls and hold my head up high, and I stand my ground until the day I die. As the rain falls down, there's no more tears to cry, tears to cry. So I break these walls and hold
Mr. Dustin. Here's Mr. Dustin.